All my flash photographers out there, has this ever happened to you? Okay, well, let me show you how to fix it. So obviously you have to start by opening the flash. You take out all the screws and you pull off these rubber flaps. They're a little tricky to get off, so you might need a second pair of hands to help you lift it up. You take out all 3 of the screws that are there. I tried it first with just taking out 1 screw, but it didn't work. So you make sure you take out all 3 screws because they all hold the flash together. After that, you should be able to just pull it apart. That's supposed to happen? What's this? I don't know. Okay, so obviously it wasn't that easy, but it didn't do anything there. You can see the lenses from the flash on the side over there. Then you just have to pull out these 4 screws. They hold the actual light bulb, the part that would generate the light that's connected to the big motor. These screws hold that in place, so you just pull that off once you take out those screws, and you can see this red wire here holds it in place. So I just grabbed a pair of forceps and was able to take out that wire, so I had a little bit more room to work with. And you can see here, those are the 4 areas where the screws hold the light in place, and that's the red wire poking out. I just used a flathead screwdriver to pop off the back, and this is what the back looks like. That's where the bounce card should be sitting, and this is what the track looks like, the track that you would pull out the flash from. So here I actually decided to take some double-sided tape and put it on the bounce card. So you see the second pair of hands actually holding it. That's my father. Thank you, Pop. So you can see here, I'm just putting the bounce card back in place now that I've put the double-sided tape in, and it will just sit in there. I actually tried this without tape, and I was able to put the flash back together and get it in working order, but the second I pulled out the bounce card, it just slipped out. So I figured now this problem has been completely eliminated now that I'm putting it back together with the double-sided tape. I was going to try glue, but I didn't want to make a big mess of things. Now I can take the 4 screws and just put the light back in place. I already reattached the wire, so it's not going to be much of an issue now. Now, putting it back together is pretty self-explanatory. You just put everything back together. That red wire that I didn't know what it was in the beginning is actually the little red light that you might see poking out of the flash when you have it aimed at somebody. So you just make sure you put it back in the red circle that is inside the flash casing. Obviously, I made the mistake here of putting it together too soon, so you do have to put those lenses in before you do that. But at least the red wire stayed in place where the red light would sit. Now these 2 lenses are obviously very important. It's kind of out of frame here, but these 2 lenses are what's going to diffuse your light when you fire the flash. So here you go. You can see that there are 2 different ones. There's one that's a bit more frayed and one that's a bit more clear. So obviously the one that's frayed is going to sit closer to the bulb. And if you feel it, it actually has a texture on it like it was melted. But it was kind of difficult to get in. There's some beveling inside, so you can see where you're going to fit that lens into the groove. And here you go. You can kind of see the beveling here if you look closely at it. And that's what's going to fit inside of the grooves that are inside the flash. And this is a closer up view of it. Again, you can see kind of the beveled edge here. And again, that's my father hand. He's just a little bit better at dealing with finicky things than I am. So you see here, it fits clearly into those grooves. There's both lenses in there. Once you do that, this is going to be the trickiest part, is getting it to fit into the grooves on the corresponding side, the other side of the flash. I give it a quick pound and it's back in place. Then all you have to do is put the screws back on. It, again, does take some finagling to get it in place perfectly. And then you just put your screws back on. Now you're back to shooting photos. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments sections. The best way to reach out to me is through Instagram. So like, follow, and subscribe for more. There's much more content coming up soon. Damn, took a long time. There we go.